Good morning, traders. Sorry about the delay in getting started here. My data needed to be reloaded. I didn't want to start with charts that are wrong. Not even sure if they're correct now. Anyway, thanks for joining me. It is Wednesday, the 7th of June, 2017. It's 8:06 a.m. Chicago time, 9:06 Eastern. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Uh, Overnight news. The thing that's being watched closely now is the cable, is the British pound ahead of tomorrow's election. The poll suggests that Prime Minister May's Conservative Party holds a lead of about 6 points over Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party. Um, it gets as wide as 12 points and as tight as one. I've lost faith in polls given Brexit and the U.S. election anyway. Um, But there's not much else to report that's affecting us this morning. Not seeing earnings worth talking about or anything like that. The S&P affirms the U.S. Foreign rating at AA plus. Um, and then as far as what we're expecting going forward today, we're looking for this morning. We're looking for 10:30 crude oil inventories for June 2nd. The expectation is a draw of 3.5 million barrels. Distillate inventory is expecting a surplus of 750,000 barrels, and gasoline inventory is expecting zero. There's nothing else on the calendar as far as I can tell. As far as what we talked about yesterday, what was expected yesterday, here's what we've got. The key element yesterday, or the trade of the day, the primary trade was responsive up. Oops, was responsive. Was We were looking for responsive up, a push to about 34, 34, 35, the region of that LVN from a couple days ago. With an extended target. So we're looking for the long. Remember, I said I'm looking for to drop, push against something, push against support, and then I'm looking for the rotation up to 34, 33, 34. And then the extended target is 36.75. Yesterday, I expected a significant amount of resistance up there on the first touch. So that's what I drew here. That's the line. The first test is around the 33, 34, and then the second test gets us into the MC point of control, actually, which is 36 and a half. And that's what was expected. That's what actually happened, pretty much on the dot. The alternative trade was for the market again to be responsive and is just unable to continue higher. And in this situation, I was looking for it to rotate through the opening swing, and then I was going to look to sell any pullback higher against the opening swing to get short down into the 24.15 area. That didn't play out. It would have been nice if it had. It did not. Here's uh, here's what actually happened. We've got. Let me get rid of these trend lines. Was looking for the break higher yesterday. Here's what we've got. We had an open auction out of range. The first big rotation is up, which is what I was looking for. So hypo one's in play. Reaches 34 and a quarter, which is our first target. Pulls back through the mid here, sloshing around the mid. You notice that it's holding the opening swing high right here, mid, VWAP, all in this area, and makes another go at the IB high, 34 and a quarter, 34 and a quarter. This sets us up for the IB high stat, which is, again, past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results, but the IB high stat says that if we touch the IB with a 15-minute separation, that's what I used for my study. If we touch the IB twice and make a double top, then there's an 82% probability that we are to break that IB before the end of the session. So I tested for double tops at the IB high, and then I tested for did we make a higher high on the IB, and 82% of the time it does break higher. That's called the IB stat. It used to be 83% on the IB low, a double bottom at the IB low, but that has dropped. I think the last time I updated this, it was around 77 or so percent in this uptrend. So we finally get this double top, looking for an area to lean against. We get this nice little zipper here against the mid, and off to the races it goes. This was basically the cleanest trade of the day. And then from there, we push into our MC point of control. 35, we push into 35. What is the high here? I need to change the colors. I added a few things to my chart here. 35.75. So we stopped 2 ticks short of that MC point of control at 36 quarter or so, 36.50. And then the market immediately starts to find sellers. Remember, I told you that on yesterday's Trader Bite, I said that there's a significant amount of resistance here on the first touch, and so we roll over. And this was actually a greater opportunity. The best opportunity of the day actually was a short. And then we ride right into the opening swing and hold there. The profile yesterday was telling us that there was a fair amount of consensus in the middle with the value area being valid, but it's not so smooth. We have multiple prongs going, 3 prongs going here, so the market's still fighting and looking for consensus at these prices. It's a very lackluster trade. It's a very summary kind of trade, but that's what we have right now. Carrying that into the overnight session, the extended hours. The extended hours didn't do much as expected. The volume on the extended hours is pretty decent, 122,000. We have a fairly balanced profile. Sideways, the overnight inventory is pretty much evenly balanced at this point. You can see the delta is at 0. The delta didn't go anywhere. There were no aggressors, no consistent aggressors, and price is just above. Currently, price is just above yesterday's high, so the inventory is meh, slightly long, but nothing to speak of. So I'm expecting a quiet open. I'm expecting the open to be an open auction in range coming in. So if you come in today with guns blazing, my expectation is that you're likely to be disappointed by the action. Okay, so the first thing we got to remember is that we are opening in range with a fairly inactive overnight session, and so we don't have very much of a catalyst to get either the buyers or the sellers to make a move early on. So that's where we are currently. Today or currently we're trading 24.32 and a quarter. Let me see 1 second. 24.32 and a quarter, 24.32 and a half. Yesterday's point of control is right on top of there at 24.32 and a half. We're completely imbalanced. So we're opening against yesterday's point of control. The expectation is an open auction, a choppy, quiet open. I'm looking for some selling to bring us back to yesterday's close, and I'm looking for a base. And then again, I'm looking for this to push to the MC point of control and take us up to the 37.25. Let me put that MC back on the last several days. So yesterday with the 2 days, yesterday, the MC was 36 and a half, including yesterday's trading. You can see that the MC is filling in below. See how that's filling in below here, creating a double distribution. And it's giving us a clean and clear MC LVN, and that becomes the measuring stick. And that is where we are right now. 34 and a quarter is just 2 points above, and that's going to be the dividing line between whether the market takes out the sellers and continues higher or hangs on. So currently I'm looking for An open auction out of range. Let me reset the scale here. An open auction in range, looking for a base, looking for an area to lean against long. I'm targeting 36.50 again and pushing and looking for 37 and a quarter, and then it's likely to push out and then finish somewhere in the middle. That is the primary hypothesis. In other words, I'm looking for the key move to be upwards. That is my bias coming in. Now remember, bias has been spoken of many, many times as if it's a negative thing. It is a negative thing if you are biased to the point that you cannot read or see the markets. That's when bias is bad. Just like everything else, if you consume too much of it, it's probably not good for you, right? And so, uh, coming in with a bias is not an issue. You might be thinking, well, wait, I'm supposed to come in without a bias. It's the bias I have here is for hypo one being long. It doesn't mean that that's all I'm going to look for today. It doesn't mean that if the market sells off, I'm just going to keep buying and buying and buying. That's the poor bias. What this is saying is odds are the probability is given what the market has done, what it's doing, what it's trying to do, how good of a job it's doing, and based on those three factors, what is likely to happen next? Those are the key questions, contextual questions that I'm constantly answering right here in front of you on the Trader Bite. What has it done? That's why we look at the past. What is it trying to do now? So we look at yesterday, how it closed, the shape of the profile. We look at the extended hours. That's what it's trying to do. How good of a job is it doing? Not so good. It's staying in balance. It's not going anywhere. But coming into the session, I'm going to reassess those questions and I'm going to look for what is it trying to do now and how good of a job. Are the buyers winning this? Are the sellers winning this? And then I start to stock my order flow software, my heat map to look for areas to lean against. So I just go into Bookmap and I look for areas to lean against in the direction of that bias, this temporary bias in my time frame. Take the trade and then put out your targets according to your plan. Keep your hands off the mouse and let the market do what it's got to do. Secondary hypothesis, again, open auction, not seeing any different, looking for it to start pushing early on into and through the LVN, push into 37 and a quarter, hold steady there. Will likely have a pullback, but it's likely to turn around and continue to finish the day in this upper distribution, in this balance that we've had for the last 3 days. That's hypo 2. It is somewhat trendy, but I don't expect an aggressive trend. The tertiary hypothesis is looking for a push-up that fails. Responsive, we touched yesterday's closing price, and then we start to move lower. I'd love to see this market fall beneath this low here at 27 so we can get into the slipstream. You can see there's no volume here. There's hardly any volume. So we can get into the slipstream and start working ourselves down to that 24.15. I don't see a catalyst for this currently unless news changes things. A couple things to be aware of that could cause that. Maybe the Comey, the former FBI director Comey's testimony yesterday might cause this, might bring into question Trump's presidency and create that issue for him. I doubt it. The other factor may be the UK election tomorrow, but today I just don't see it unless unless participants start to hedge their positions ahead of tomorrow's election. And don't forget, we also get the ECB tomorrow. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. There's a lot to cover there, and I'm over my time. Don't forget, today we have an AMA. I have a public AMA with Futures IO at 4:30. The invitation for that is in the description of this video and on my Twitter feed. Hit that up, and if you have questions for me, you can catch me on the AMA. I'll do my best to answer it. Okay, it takes about an hour. Starts at 4:30 Eastern until 5:30 Eastern. I'll catch you then. Take care.